who are maybe drop out between class 1 and 4, class 1 to 5, class 6 to 8, class maybe 9 to 11 and higher up. So their numbers are quite large. But if I match with sectors and geographies, they are not matching. And there will be a lot of migration, that means. So how we are going to handle this basically? So one way would be doing I think before doing skilling, before going for skilling, it's very important to do sectoral analysis of and at the same time see that the geographies need to match with the emerging sectors. Otherwise, China also had the same problem, but there they could somehow do it because their social policies and health policies were very fine. But as a nation, there will be a lot of migration problems. At the same time, if we could come out with stronger migration policies and health policies, I think it will help a lot to have the whole ecosystem around the training for skilling, organized for a better job avenue, and at the same time it will serve industry better for growth. So this is one part, and given all this context, what I could really see as industry partners, I would like to put forward is I think it's industry is not only employer here. Here we see industry as the institution who are to set the high standard for training manpower, and given the sector skill councils to ensure the development of national occupation standards and course curricula. So I am in NSDA also. Kindly let me know if I am right with time. So how many minutes I have now?
You can speak for a few minutes and then
yeah, okay. So sorry for this interruption. So given that now, yes, course curricula is responsibility of industry, but at the same time, I think very responsive review, responsive and time-bound review of course curricula is very important. So I always have, whenever I approve QPs and NOSes, I always have apprehension, for how long these QPs and NOSes will hold good for a particular industry. So industry has to be very responsive on this one. And given that industry must increase the participation of its own sector skill council. Now what we see in sector skill council is the smaller industries are not involved mostly. So the industries which are large industries, they are involved mostly. But I cannot say that they are not involved. But that institutionally what I see is there is tremendous scope for getting small and medium industries integrated into the sector skill councils, because most of the job, the qualification packs and NOSes are being built are from level 1 to level 4. So given that it becomes all the more reason for the smaller industries to get to play active role in sector skill councils. And one is that one part now in this Prime Minister's skill development scheme which has come now, here one is first level skilling, that is for direct entry, some 14 lakh target have been given, and another is 10 lakh is recognition of prior learning. Fine. There is a vast scope for recognizing the skill of the people and to reskill them, upskill them, and mainstream them. So, but what I really feel right now, since we also had some obligation to to get engaged with the first level entry and cater to those, cater skilling for those industries which have larger incremental job requirement, fine. But at the same time, I think the lot which are there right above the bottom of socioeconomic pyramid, who knows a lot about the business of getting, who knows about the skill, but there's a need to fine tune them and mainstream them. So some 10 lakh target has been given, and now Sector Skill Council really have to come forward and take a leading role, because orientation of Sector Skill Council till date is to, you know, to cater to the production pipeline in the whole value chain. But at the same time, the pipeline which is right above the bottom of socioeconomic pyramid, which is already there, they need to be aligned to as early as possible. And at this, I think knowledge and technology for upskilling of existing workforce is very important. How IT could play a better role in terms of imparting education for upskilling and reskilling, and bringing down at the same time infrastructure and equipment. We are trying a lot to use every infrastructure that is with the government, like railways, armed forces, defense, in many areas. So at the same time, I would urge private partners to come forward wherever possible. If we could use the resources, it will help us a lot. This is something like social innovation, basically. So given that now, what I really see is this recognition of prior learning needs to be used as a strategy to see through and innovate the system to make global brand of products from informal sector aspirational. One is formal sector, but informal sector where 93% of our population is engaged really needs to be, although, you know, in terms of business viability, it doesn't seem to be quite doing types, but I think we have social and moral responsibility also, and there's a lot of scope given we as from the government come up with appropriate policies, and at the same time industry partners could come forward to make this reach. And reach with quality and skill and entrepreneurship. Education is also very important, plays a very important part. And at the same time, what I really feel is a lot of innovation is needed in pedagogy and at the same time andragogy also. Because lot of our learners in skill environment, they are adult learners. So pedagogy will not work. So any research that could be done in andragogy, that will impart tremendous value to this. Now, obviously, this innovation is mother of entrepreneurship. Yeah, given that we are focusing equally onto social entrepreneurship also from the ministry's end, along with entrepreneurship. Now, given social entrepreneurship, I think research, both action and policy research would play a major role. So where this innovation needs to be recognized, upscaled, and given that that space to be integrated into the entrepreneurship ecosystem. And at the same time, innovation could be included for inclusivity, reducing the cost for training for students. I visited one institution which was a trust. I'm not naming that. So that institution, so what I could see, there was, printing was one of the, costs there. So when I visited there, I could see lot of print materials in the platform, shop floor. So given that, then I asked these boys and girls, they are doing the printing, so why so much of printing materials are there? So what that institution told me, we have 2 years of ITI, screen printing, printing. But what they told that we finish this within 1 year, second year we take the job and these children do the job. There is industry linkage also, there's lot of confidence built in the children also. And then that institution told me that is how we reduce the cost of the training for the children who come from the lower rung of the society. So this is social innovation. So this is one example which I really appreciated. So can we do those type of innovations? Although we as government, we have fixed some rates, but within that, can we segment that rate? Can we target that rate? Can we, have something? And, we are open for suggestions. Can any of the partners come and tell that, for this type of segmented lot, we need this, for this type of training, seeing CapEx and OpEx. But for this lot, we can do this type of social innovations. So technical innovation is one part, but I think skilling in India will lead lot of social innovation. That is very much required. And innovation to augment social capital, I have already told, financial capital and physical capital, I have already told. And close collaboration with every government departments we are doing. And another part is that future manufacturing, green jobs, and how we are responsible, because that will only sustain India's economy in times to come. So this part is also very important. So given that, I'll just sum it up like radical thinking and to some extent what I could say is, I should not say disruptive, but the solutions are essential to address the challenges of skilling faced by us in our pursuit of faster, sustainable, and inclusive growth. Innovation, obviously, it's a multi-stakeholder multi-stakeholdership has to be there, and it has to be sustained and collaborative exercise in diverse country like ours with various, and we have varied challenges, and it's critical to have institutional framework to promote and anchor innovation. This is very important. So do we have a framework? Do we have an institution? This needs to be delved upon. Need for an enabling framework to cultivate innovations across public and private sector, where we as government, we have to play a role, as an essential role in shaping the sector. And additionally, the need for innovation cuts across many ministries, departments, both at central, state, and local government level. It is for the industry to stimulate the cross-connectivity for innovations to make market work for growth with equity considerations. So with this, I would like to end my deliberation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Sitling, for those very thought-provoking remarks around the challenges that we face and why there is a need for innovation across many things. I think you touched upon several aspects of what should be the industry's role, IT, infrastructure, pedagogy, andragogy, and many other things. And I think one point you raised was, about the parents are not willing to spare their children for skill training. When we did an India at 75, mission, and we talked to several parents across the country, we found a very different kind of understanding. We felt that parents, Indian parents particularly, across economic sectors, are willing to sacrifice significantly to make sure that their children, get a better livelihood. Now, of course, it initially translates more in terms of education. And I still remember this episode when I was sitting in a car, in a taxi with a driver in the front. And, I was just chatting, and he said that I want my child to learn English. And we said, I said, why do you want him? He says, because, Saab, jo bhi log, whoever sits in this car at the back seat always speaks in English. So I want